Obviously, I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I was generally aware of some of his ideas. I think those ideas were wrong. But that doesn't negate the fact that what happened was a tragedy and that I mourn for him and his family. He's a young man with 2 small children and a wife who obviously, and a huge number of friends and supporters who cared about him. And I disagree with the idea that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. That's not me politicizing the issue. It's making an observation about who are we as a country. I can say that I disagree with the suggestion that my wife or Justice Jackson does not have adequate brain processing power. I can say that I disagree that Martin Luther King was awful. I can disagree with some of the broader suggestions of that liberals and Democrats are promoting a conspiracy to displace whites and replace them.
Well, that was a real heartfelt eulogy by the great unifier Barack Obama. There's nothing like taking the opportunity to scold a dead guy in the wake of his funeral. And I'm sorry, but what man sits with their legs crossed like that? You can definitely tell between him and Big Mike who wears the pants in that relationship. Now let's fact check and break down some of the claims that Barack Obama just made. Claim number 1, the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. Charlie was specifically speaking about the political left using the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to justify men and women's sports. He was not advocating for segregation of black people. Don't take my word for it. Here's the actual clip.
If you had the opportunity, you would get rid of the Civil Rights Act?
No, I think you should have a one-page bill that says that racial discrimination based on race is illegal and will not be tolerated in the United States of America. Most black Americans don't support is men and female sports. Would you agree?
Hell no.
Yeah, I know. No, for sure, right? Believe it or not, the Civil Rights Act is now being used to keep men playing in women's sports. And so what we're saying is, no, it should be specified to racial, not gender, all that other stuff. And there were all these other provisions as well.
Claim number 2. Charlie says that Michelle Obama, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Joy Reid lack brain power, insinuating that it's because they're all black women. Once again, false. He quoted that they all call themselves DEI hire and affirmative action recipients. They do. They claim it themselves.
If we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color. But I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
We know.
And let's be honest, he ain't wrong. Okay, now it comes to Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, he did say that MLK was not a good guy, or specifically that we shouldn't be extolling him as somebody worth memorializing. I will concede that he did say that. However, Charlie also quoted MLK in almost every single speech, in contrast to DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, which is that men should be judged not by the color of their skin, but the content of their character, which is the antithesis of what DEI and critical race theory represent. Charlie also goes on to say that men should idolize Frederick Douglass as a, quote, much more honorable black icon than MLK. So sure, maybe those comments are controversial, but he's not wrong. MLK was cheating on his wife with a smorgasbord of other women. Okay, so lastly, Obama alludes to what's called the Great Replacement Theory. This is the idea that a group of elites like himself wish to ethnically cleanse the West with people from the Third World. This isn't a theory. It's happening. Just look at England. I mean, London is starting to look more and more like Syria. It has nothing to do with white people being colonized by Muslims. It's about the very identity of Americans in our culture being subjugated by people who do not share our values and have no desire to assimilate into our society. So, in conclusion, Obama is once again attempting to stay relevant by spewing lies and manipulating the truth. And here's why. Because he knows that his words no longer carry weight.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
No one cares what he thinks anymore. If they did, Trump would not have won 7 swing states. Trump would not have won the popular vote. You are irrelevant. And for somebody like Barack Obama, that is the toughest pill to swallow.